5 families who are suing TikTok in America over the deaths of their children have begun an agonising wait to see if their case will be taken to trial following a hearing in Delaware on Friday.
The parents of 14-year-old Jools Sweeney, 13-year-old Isaac Kenovan, 11-year-old Noah Gibson, 12-year-old Archie Battersby and 13-year-old Maya Walsh all believe their children died while trying an online challenge that was the result of addictive programming aimed at driving engagement to the social media site.
And we're joined by Jools' mum, Ellen, Isaac's mum, Lisa, Noah's mum, Louise, and Archie's mum, Hollie. And to start with, Ellen, I mean, it's such a, I think for me, for many of our viewers, the idea of taking a court case against a huge American company in Delaware, I mean, it's such a hard thing to do, but you've put together you know, a formidable group to take on the social media giant. How did you come together and come up with that plan?
Well, I'd met Hollie and Lisa on a programme we did with a special about online safety back in May 24. And then I saw Laura, the lawyer, interviewed on social media, and I just thought, we need to speak to her. And I rang her. We had this amazing hour-and-a-half conversation, and she was just formidable. And I said to the others, you've got to speak to her. And so the others joined in, and then Louise, you saw a post that I had shared and reached out to me and said, I think this might be the same for my son Noah. And so then Louise joined in as well.
So, Ellen, you have been over to America, and Lisa, you went as well. Yeah. What does it feel like taking on one of the world's most powerful companies, but believing in your heart and soul and every fibre of your body that they are responsible for the death of your child?
I feel that, thankfully, this law firm has taken a hand to do this, because you're right, it's the most powerful social media company out there, and the David and Goliath situation, you know, you wouldn't stand a chance on your own, but this law centre specialises, sadly, on social media victims. So that in itself, we had that belief, you know, after that conversation we had on the phone, we was elated. We was like, oh my goodness, they're going to actually, there's almost like a saviour, you know, we believe in them. And it was a bit the unknown going into that courtroom, but we came out and felt that they threw everything together to have a chance.
Of course, Louise, TikTok say, why is this happening in an American court? This doesn't happen in America. These tragic deaths happen here in the UK, and it should be the UK courts who sort this out.
Unfortunately, there's nobody over here that would touch it with a barge pole. Basically, nobody's got the gumption to be able to go and sue TikTok. So, yeah, it is quite.
Did you know you'd have the gumption?
No. No, I didn't until I met these. I didn't know that I had it in me. They brought something out in me which has made me want to fight even more. I think being dismissed, I felt a bit dismissed when I mentioned social media at the beginning when Noah passed away. And then I just thought, OK, I was wrong. But then when I've met these, which is unfortunate how we've met, but they've given me a lot of strength.
It's the worst circumstance. I mean, it's horrendous. And Hollie, one of the things that's so striking is that if your children had tragically died a different way, perhaps an accident or an illness, you would know exactly what had happened to them. But part of the absolute horror of this is that you are not sure what they were doing just before they died. And that is part of the reason you're taking on the social media company TikTok, because you want to see what they were looking at.
Exactly, if anything, so that we can rule it out.
Because you believe it was an online challenge,
yes.
Don't you?
That was brought to my attention when Archie was in hospital, I think the 2nd or 3rd day, and somebody else's child, they had walked in on their child doing pretty much what Archie was doing, and that child was 6. So that's where it went from, and that was my original message, or the message I tried to get out there to other parents. I thought, as a parent, it's almost like a safeguarding duty to warn other parents, isn't it? Like Lisa and I were going to the schools to raise awareness, and it spiralled from there. And then obviously it sort of took a bit of a back seat because of the
life support case that I was involved in. And then when Archie passed, it all just sort of hit again, and then you've got these other children. For me, the police officer in Archie's case was really good. She was very thorough, and she established that Archie did watch 7 minutes of TikTok that day. And
do you know what he was watching?
No, because
on
the
TikTok?
coins, I was told the coins had expired because Archie had a 4-month battle in hospital. They had expired apparently after 28 days. I did ask them to check Archie's phone immediately, but due to GDPR laws, they couldn't, which obviously now the loophole there was Archie wasn't protected by GDPR, so they could have looked because he was only 12, he wasn't 13.
Gosh.
So that was a missed opportunity. But he was clearly a child that wanted to be here. He asked me to order him a coat. That's not a child that planned on taking his life deliberately that day.
And is there, as part of the legal proceedings, has there been a request for a mental health assessment of your children, which must feel... I mean, even as I said that, Ellen, you sort of took a breath in.
We were in the court and I actually wrote on my pad of paper and passed it to you and said, this is making me angry and sad. Yeah. And so when I came out and they asked for a comment, I really struggled to get the words out. I'm usually an OK speaker, but I just felt so emotional. They were standing there saying, well, actually, it would be better to have the case in the UK because they want to then do mental health assessments on what our children were like. I was thinking there was nothing wrong with my child. There was nothing found offline with his mental health or any bullying. And so to have that, I'm feeling angry about it now, but I really, to hear that they were trying to then make out that there was something wrong with our children or that we were bad parents.
You're at the early stage. You're waiting to hear whether the court goes to the next stage where they start to really dig into the detail, and hopefully you'll get more answers. But the case you're making, Lisa, is that that TikTok were responsible for drawing children, including your son, into behaviour because they were trying to get them addicted, to get them to be caught into a cycle, which then led to more and more extreme behaviour. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's be frank here. The children are the biggest customers. That's what they draw to. That is, it's designed to be addictive, highly addictive, you know, and children are extremely vulnerable. You know, it's proven that the frontal cortex is not fully developed to around about age of 25. Not rational thinking, not decisions as an adult. And with being an adult, it's still very overwhelming with social media. So for a child, getting spiralled into these algorithms that are, where TikTok claim that they don't, you know, promote certain acts where they clearly do. You know, it's almost very insulting. Like we are 5, and there's many more out there that have been affected, hugely affected by this platform that is not fit for purpose. That they are basically, it's profit over lives.
And the thing is as well, it's the similarities between all of the deaths.
Yeah.
The similarities are exactly the same.
Very short time of each other. And I think one of the statements that TikTok put out, which is extremely frustrating for all of us, is they've removed 99 point harmful content, and 2 parents that are, oh, OK, that's reassurance for a parent, you know. My child's safe because TikTok are doing their bit, but
it's the
that
1%
of billions of videos is still a lot of harmful content that your children are being exposed to.
We were talking about that and saying, well, actually, if I only murdered 1% of the population, then that's OK. You know, if I was a murderer, 99% is OK. Yeah. You know, it's just, you've still got harm there. Where else in the law does that work? You know, if I didn't steal 99% of things from a shop, that's OK. You know, I just don't like it. It
should be 100%.
Yes,
100% of harmful content is taken down.
So I agree with taking this social media ban. That
yes, because that is in the ether at the moment, isn't it? That there would be a ban on under 16-year-olds accessing social media, and presumably, I mean, I'm going to make an assumption, all of you would support that ban.
100%.
Absolutely.
Because that would have protected your sons.
A lot of bereaved parents. I was talking to Lauren Lefebvre, another mum yesterday, and Esther Jai. We all said, so, you know, get it off the children. It is not safe. Take it away.
Let me put to you the statement from TikTok. A TikTok spokesperson said, our deepest sympathies remain with these families. We strictly prohibit content that promotes or encourages dangerous behaviour, using robust detection systems and dedicated enforcement teams to proactively identify and remove this content. We remove 99% that's found to break these rules before it is reported to us. But the point is, 1%.
And what's that in numbers? Think of the billions that they upload, or I don't know what the numbers are. The billions of videos, so how many millions are still there that are harmful?
Goodness.
It's not fit for purpose.
You are meeting Liz Kendall, the Tech Secretary, today, aren't you? In order to try and get access to what your children were looking at.
Not specifically that, really just to talk about the general harms about online safety. There's still things like online suicide forums that are out there, which are harming some of the other bereaved families in our group. And so it's really about the bigger picture and what needs to happen to the Online Safety Act. Does it need to be strengthened, which I think we all agree it does, and then Ofcom need to step up and enforce it.
Yeah.
But I was reading today, TikTok have still not paid their £12.7 million fine from 2023. So we've got to actually find these companies and then enforce it and then get them to pay it. Otherwise, they're, getting away with it.
It's a great responsibility that all four of you are taking on. I mean, you want truth about what happened to your children, and it's happening in a courtroom very, very far away in Delaware. But actually, what you're doing is it's really important for loads and loads of parents in our country and around the world. So
we're creating, a pathway, and we're not going to be intimidated.
No,
definitely not. And we're very thankful that we've been, held all the way through, and we won't stop.
Yeah. The thing is, we can't bring our children back, but what we are trying to do is raise awareness and chat no, I didn't know Archie was on TikTok, and he shouldn't have been on TikTok because the age is 13. We have now helped to bring in the age verification. So we are learning by things that we may or may have not done as parents, and we are raising the awareness out there.
to protect
And
others.
hopefully protect children.
Thank you so much for being with us. And lots and lots of love to you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate
if
it.
you've been affected by any of the issues we've been talking about this morning, there is help and support available at itv.com/helplines.